Hello, Alex.
Hey.
Great to see your face.
Great to see you. Dimitri, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. My wife told me to say come stai, but this is the only Italian sentence I know.
You sound good. You sound good.
Yeah, being Greek, I guess.
Greek, okay.
So we are neighbors, right? At least where we were born.
Yes.
Right now you're not in Italy, right?
I live in UK. I live in London.
Okay. Because I was about to ask you how are things with COVID in Italy.
Well, I don't know about how the COVID do. I know how they handle it, and it's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah.
I can't stand to read news about Italy.
Well, I feel you, man. I feel you because Greece is not far from that, unfortunately. Yeah. But this is not.
No, it is because.
No. It's better to discuss music, man. So. First, and kind of cliche question: How long have you been working on Glory for Salvation?
2 years. I started 2 years ago.
Okay.
So from the very first moment I started writing, actually Son of Vengeance is the first song I wrote, and it's been 24 months. Okay, not of constant work every day, but in this time frame, yes, we worked a lot. Normally we like to take 2 years between albums at least.
Right. And so I guess this means that without the tours kind of helped you keep focused on the songwriting stuff.
Yes, well, after we had we were forced to finish, to interrupt the tour, we still had 5 shows, and my plan was to go back home and start working anyway, so this is exactly what I did. In UK, there were not so many lockdowns, so there were like a few months, so especially in that period where we could go out and run and do some activity outside, but in that period, I really concentrate and worked a lot. And I used these moments of freedom to work more and to be, I was inspired. So I used this period to build something,
Right.
For me, staying at home is not a problem. I'm in self-isolation since 20 years. So for me, it's like...
I feel you on that, yeah.
I take chance, It's... For some people, they were so desperate. In the reality, you have the chance to do something that you never had the time to do, like read, do yoga, or, experiment, compose, whatever, cook. So it's like,
Well, the people who were not good with themselves before this situation were not good during this situation. It's even worse for them.
Yes.
So you have to be used to being alone with yourself and with your own thoughts. So that's another different subject.
Yes.
So this is the second album with Giacomo on the vocals, right? So
exactly.
Did this not change, or how did this affect the songwriting? Knowing how he sings and what he can do in the studio.
Well, luckily before the 8th Mountain, I worked with him on Legendary Years, which was a very nice platform to test his capabilities and vocals. Not that he had to prove anything, because at that point I knew him already. But with the 8th Mountain, especially with Girls for Salvation, I record vocals. I record with him myself, and it's a pleasure, first of all, to work with a guy like this. He's the sweetest guy I know, and very talented, and it's a pleasure to work with. So this is really important for me. He has a fantastic vocal range. He likes to take challenges very seriously, and he's always ready to experiment. He loves to do different languages, to sing different languages. We even sing in Japanese for every record now from the 8th Mountain on. We did 2 singles. Mm-hmm. We did the Reign of Fury version in Japanese for the 8th Mountain, which was released actually on the EP. And also this time we recorded a song in Japanese for the Japanese market. So it's all about sounds. So it's challenging. We like to challenge ourselves with this, and it's fantastic to work with him, really.
Who is doing the translations, and how easy is to to take the original vocal melodies into Japanese?
Oh, well, this is more, okay, it's easier to do with French or Spanish because we know the right people, and the lyric at the end, the text will not, it's not just a translation.
No, of course.
It has to be created on purpose. For Japanese, we use a friend of mine, which is her name is Saeko, and she's also a metal head from Japan. She's living in Germany, as I think, and she's doing a project as well, involving some musicians. And our bass player, Alessandro Sala, also played with her. So she is, of course, native speaking, and she helped a lot in creating the Japanese version of Chains of Destiny. And yeah, it's not easy, but at the end, when she sings a demo for Giacomo to learn how to sing, at the end it sounds, so for Giacomo it's kind of easy to replicate that.
It's
Japanese
easy.
is not so difficult. Yeah, I think Japanese is not so difficult. Maybe French could be even more difficult because of pronunciation, so...
Well, okay.
It's a nice ride to do something in Japanese, really.
So you said that you wrote the vocal melodies for Giacomo, but what was his input? I mean, did you let him change anything that he didn't feel like it, or he had a better idea for something?
But sometimes it happens, of course, and because when you write vocal melodies for 10 songs, and I dedicate myself to this as a whole process, so I start and I do each song one after the other, but of course I know the song by heart at that point, but sometimes yes, basically I would say 90-95% of the melodies are there, because are melodies created for the songs, and respecting the orchestral arrangement. So basically everything is pretty built. But of course, since Giacomo has to write the lyrics, the words has to be adapted, or the melody has to be adapted to the words. So there are a lot of difference in addition. Sometimes we have to take off notes, sometimes we have to add notes. But for me, it's important to have a basic guideline.
Right.
It's not that relevant that my vocal melody will stay 100%. I want the best for the song at the end. As a producer, I have to look for
the next steps. Yeah.
Yeah, for the song. The song has to sound good, and the vocal has to sound good. There must be space for breathing and everything. So.
And you said that Giacomo wrote the lyrics, right?
Yes.
So
yeah,
how?
Basically, Robbie De Micheli, my guitar player, proposed me the story. He wrote the storyline, and together with Giacomo, they exchanged some infos, and at the end, Giacomo wrote the lyrics. So the music came first anyway. I wrote the music first. We wrote the music first.
Okay, that's interesting, because first, when you announced, for example, the Eighth Mountain, it was the first part of the trilogy. So I was thinking, wait a minute, how did these guys have the entire concept in mind, and now how do they follow that with music writing?
This is what we did since the very beginning.
True.
Luca Turilli was writing the story. I mean, in every movie that is based on books, at a certain point, the books is too big to be represented in one single movie. You see Lord of the Rings or, Game of Thrones. So it's, when you have a storyline, you can just decide, what is more proper, if to do one album, 2, 3, 4. And in this case, we felt 3 would be okay. But for me as a musician, the music comes first. It's really important that I have the freedom to write what I want, what I feel is right for Rhapsody of Fire. This is what I call Robbie since the very first day. We can write any saga, any story that also I want to approve. It's irrelevant for me as well, the wording and the scenery and the fantasy world we want to portray. But the music comes first. I want to be free to write the music I want, and then the lyrics will have to move accordingly.
So that was my follow-up question, in fact, that do you feel any at all restricted by the concept? But you have answered the question.
No, yes, I don't want to feel restricted. This was my rule number one. No
Right.
restriction. I don't want to have, like that I have to write an album and the song has to be perfectly from the number 1 to the number 10. They has to stay in this, this would be too complicated music. This would be easier if I could write the lyrics.
Right.
But I don't write lyrics, so for me it's, I have to concentrate on the music, and this is my main objective. My main target is to create the music.
So this is the second album that you wrote by yourself, right? Although Robbie contributed some riffs, correct?
Yeah, a lot. Yes. Some songs like Son of Vengeance or Terrial the Hawk, for example, songs that I write by myself. I wrote by myself. But with Robbie, we also write a lot because for me it's important, and I want Robbie to propose and offer his skills. I like his guitar playing. He proposed me a lot of guitar riffs, and already from a good guitar riff you can build a song. This is sometimes what happens, And there's every guitar riff is Robbie's material, So yeah, I do write a lot by myself, but it's a teamwork.
Right. So were there any lessons that you learned while working for on the Eighth Mountain that you said, hey, these are the things that we need to change, or these are the things that I would like to try for Glory, for Salvation?
But basically, I think that from the Eighth Mountain, I personally really felt very confident, and I had very clear ideas on how to proceed. Mm-hmm. And in terms of time, organization, composing, arranging, the production, the recording, and everything. So, knowing that, I could be more concentrated and dedicate myself on details that are relevant to me, like work on more complex vocal harmonies, or dedicate myself to write for different choirs, different singing, So modern learning was having the freedom and the ability and the confidence to work more fluently. This is fantastic, you know what I mean?
It's surprising for me to hear you talking about confidence. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not a new kid on the block.
No, it's like... confidence sometimes is like it's not really a good thing to be confident. I prefer to be responsible and aware of what I'm doing. Confidence is like, I'm confident to do everything, and then maybe we don't know if it's like that or not. I prefer the more than confident. I prefer to say aware and and.
Or you have just given the correct perspective of someone being confident. It doesn't have a negative meaning, although it can. I mean, someone can be confident and be full of himself, and whatever he does, he thinks that it's okay. So the way you explained your version, let's say, of confidence makes more sense. Be aware, knowing exactly what this band means, what this band has done, and where it's going, right?
Yes, exactly.
And going back to the concept side of things, have you ever thought of doing an album without any concept?
Yeah, we did that with Darkness of Steel and Into the Legend. It was my decision to have Fabio writing the lyrics, but I told him, for now, let's just not be we don't make any saga. We just write some songs with a good storyline, but the storyline have to begin and to end with the first and the last song of the album. So after 2 sagas, after 10 albums, not that I was tired of it, but I wanted to do something different. Probably more, I wanted to wait the right time to start with a new story. And the right time when Giacomo came in, a really fresh wave of energy and new inputs, and this was the right time to do something.
So you see that.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word need, but I cannot find a better one. So do you need to have a concept to work on? Because you said you write the music first and then the concept comes second. So in the end of the day, how important is that aspect in Rhapsody of Fire?
It's important because, first of all, when you use the music to transmit, to vehicle a message, the message gets stronger and has a bigger impact if it's presented and described in a form of a story that is maybe in 2 parts or in 3 parts. I think that this is engaging for the band, for me as a composer. It's engaging for the fans, and also it allows you to express visually and graphically in a better way, in a way that you can connect albums as well. You can understand how the story goes and how the music is developing, how the graphics change from album to album. I think this is a very important part that was one of the most important elements of the band since we started.
Right.
So,
and I really like that approach. And although it's kind of old school, right? When we were buying the vinyls, and we still do, you waited to open the vinyl to see the lyrics, to see the pictures, the artwork. So I like that, and I liked also the fact that the story is not exactly a fantasy one, but there is some connection with real life, right? There are some other messages, as you said, that you'd like to pass in the film. Yes,
well, Glory for Salvation is the second chapter, of course, of the Rhapsody of Fire saga, and in this moment of the story, the hero realizes the reality around him, and he knows that he has to fight with all his strength and power to accomplish his goals. As you say, there is a connection, which is it was not so intentional, but at some point there is a metaphor that we propel to drive people to believe in themselves and to make them realize that every one of us has a second chance, which is one of the relevant moments in this part of the story. So it's a simple message, but yet the most simple messages can be very relevant if you are able to apply it.
And if you are willing to listen, because like I said, people do not listen these days. You have released this awesome video, right, for Chains of Destiny. Just by looking at the footage, that had to be a cold day, right?
It was incredibly cold. And actually, we didn't have to shoot on that in that period. We had to do this at the end of the summer, but it was difficult at that moment, and so we had to postpone it twice. And yes, it was like the altitude was like almost 2,000 meters, and on that day, like 1 degree or something, 2 degrees, with wind and light rain. It was impossible to shoot all the time. We had to shoot 3-4 songs, 3-4 times. Then we go in the ski lift area that we had at our disposal, and warm up, drink some tea, eat something, warm up actually, and then go back on the location to shoot another time, and we did this all afternoon, and it was incredible. First of all, because it was a dream of mine to do shooting on the Alps. Secondly, because this place is like literally not even 2 hours from our hometown, Trieste. So it's a privilege to be in a place like this and to show the territory we lived in.
Oh, yeah.
And what we were surrounded by in our life. The place is just incredible. I mean, it's really, really... Even graphically, it represents very well.
Absolutely. And I saw that your keyboards were set on something like a concrete slab. So what was that?
I have no idea what was that. But, it was the only place where the keyboard stand would stay still. And initially I wanted Giacomo to stay there. Because I saw the pictures, because Simone, our director, went there on location to do some photo and to check to have an overview on the location, and say, I want Giacomo there. But at the end, it was impossible to place the keyboard. So I had to stay there, and probably was like, I don't know. Actually, we had no time to think about that. It was so cold.
It was bizarre. I was thinking, are they shooting inside a video with a green in a green room? But no, it was on the mountain. So, do you have any other music videos that you're planning to release?
Yes, we just did a second one this weekend. I just came back on Monday, and it will be released within the first 2 weeks of December.
Mm-hmm.
We are very happy about that result, but I can't say more about that. But
not even the title?
Yeah, I cannot say that.
Okay, that's fair.
We will be releasing soon the news, and it will be released soon.
But that has to be colder, I imagine.
Yeah.
There is a very cool special edition of the album that comes with an action figure. That's a cool idea. Have you thought of maybe doing more? Because always in the sagas you have some main character.
Yes, and AFM Records is behind that, and I created also the cover with the character in a way that also the one of the elements could be used. So we really thought this a lot because we wanted to create something special. We know our fans. Some of our fans like to collect some special items, and we like to follow the tradition to release something special from time to time. It came out really well.
So, as we close to wrap this up, you have some live dates in Europe. I think it's January all the way to almost at the end of February. Yeah. So, first of all, as far as you now know, the tour is happening, correct? There are no...
As far as I know, the promoters are holding tight and the tour should be happening. But there are some winds coming up from some country, and, we cannot be 100% sure. As far as we are talking, tour is happening and the promoter is positive, but, there's still some weeks to go, and with some news happening around some countries.
Yeah.
And, I just saw Nightwish, they moved the tour to 2022. Ozzy Osbourne also moved the tour to 2023, actually. So it's really...
I can almost see the stress on your face right now with this.
Yeah, because it's... I love the idea to go on tour. I love the idea to play the new songs. The band will be ready to go. At the same time, if I don't do that, I just go on writing music. So for me as a musician, it's okay either way. Of course, if I have to choose, if the decision would be mine, I would choose to tour.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have, we're working on dates for Canada, US as well. So for 2022, so we have a lot of possibility for playing live and touring. We just have to be sure that we don't get stopped on the way.
Yeah.
We cannot have that anymore.
You mentioned Canada and the US. Do you know at least what time of the year it will be?
Since it's not official, I don't feel, to release, but we are talking about fall 2022.
Okay. I hope everything will go as planned and see you guys here.
Yeah. I just saw the dates. So there are many dates around between Canada, Quebec, and US.
Did you see Chicago?
Let me check. I think so. Wait. Yes.
I will call you back if it's not, man.
No, because I'm sure it is, but I want to at least to confirm that we are working.
Maybe it's Joliet?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Oh, okay.
So
this still are dates that has to be, I approve those dates.
Okay.
And it's a very long tour.
Okay, Alex, thank you for the good news.
I really hope that we can tour again in 2022. We are really looking forward.
Love the new album. I don't like to use that word tradition, but you are keeping the Rhapsody of Fire tradition going with some fresh ideas and with Giacomo's voice. I don't know. I hope everything will go as planned with your European tour. And like I said, let's see each other on the fall in Chicago.
Yes. Yeah, I hope that. It will be a pleasure to have you.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of 2021. Have a great new year and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you for having me.